Welcome, and thank you for the opportunity to provide you with information related to processes and collaboration with staff at the Santa Clara County Registrar of Voters Office during an election cycle. Over the next hour, you'll learn more about what the ROV requires of your jurisdiction prior to, during, and post-election cycle, be provided with helpful resources, and be introduced to our amazing staff. Please sit back and enjoy this 1 hour presentation. Thank you, and here's wishing you a successful election season. On this slide, you'll find general information for the ROV. Subsequent slides will provide specific contact information for division staff. The Registrar of Voters website has many popular services that can assist you and your constituents throughout an entire election cycle, such as where to find election results, how to register to vote, and how to look up your district, among many other helpful resources. Today's agenda is divided into 10 key sections that includes information related to ROV administration contacts, opening remarks, candidate services, mapping, ballot layout, fiscal, precinct operations, public and legislative affairs, voter registration, and vote by mail. Each division provides specialized services, and at the end of the presentation, you'll have a greater idea of what to expect from each division. However, should you have questions, each division section will include contact information. You are welcome to contact each subject matter expert with your questions via phone or email. The administration office has 3 executive officers: Shannon Boucher, Registrar of Voters, Matt Morellis, Assistant Registrar of Voters, and Virginia Bloom, Assistant Registrar of Voters. Please hear from each of them as they introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Shannon Boucher, the executive here at the Registrar of Voters Office. With the help of 2 assistant executives, I oversee 12 divisions with over 100 employees. During an election, the employee and volunteer count can reach into the hundreds and the thousands. We run a big operation here and we cannot do it alone without you. Many people take the right to vote for granted, and we hope to change that perspective. Voting has come a long way since the first presidential election took place in 1789. Women, people of racial descent, and persons 18 to 20 years old did not have the right to vote before. Whether you are joining us here at the ROV family for a short period of time or you're coming aboard permanently, you are now a valuable part of helping reshape our country, our state, and our county, one voter at a time. By following the laws that govern each election, we guarantee a fair election while upholding democracy with our highest integrity. I am Shannon Boucher. On behalf of the Registrar of Voters, we would like to welcome you into the ROV family and congratulate you for embracing our passion for fair and accurate elections. We are so excited to have you on board.
Hi, my name is Matt Morellis and I'm an Assistant Registrar of Voters. It is my privilege to work with our precinct operations, vote by mail, policies and procedures, and election logistics and voting system divisions. I've been with the ROV for over 15 years since I started as extra help in 2004. In that time, I've worn many different hats, including media spokesperson, vote by mail manager, training manager, webmaster, administrative support officer, and canvas manager. Over the years, I've seen the department double in size as we have worked tirelessly to innovate, to expand services, and provide every eligible citizen in the county with access to participate in the democratic process. The reason I am happy to come to work every day is my passion for voters' rights. I believe everyone deserves an equal opportunity to have their voices heard, and I truly believe that the work we do here makes a difference. Now, as Assistant Registrar, my goal is to give my divisions the support and resources they need to make sure that all of our voting operations run smoothly and that we can provide all voters with a positive, convenient, and inclusive voting experience. Whether a voter goes to the polls on Election Day, votes by mail, or takes advantage of our ever-increasing early voting opportunities, my divisions are focused on making sure that every vote counts. We do that by providing accessible voting locations and ballot drop boxes, helpful and well-trained poll workers, detailed and documented procedures, and well-maintained, fully tested voting technology. My divisions are also responsible for processing, verifying, and tallying voted ballots. Ensuring that election results accurately reflect the will of the voters is a top priority. We do this by building safeguards into our processes to prevent and detect any irregularities and make sure that our procedures protect voters' rights to have their votes counted above all else. I'm Matt Morellis, and on behalf of myself and everyone here at the ROV, welcome to our team.
Hello, I'm Virginia Bloom, one of the Assistant Registrar of Voters for Santa Clara County. I've been with this office since 2015 and I have over 20 years of election experience. My goal for the department is to have a succession plan in place, which translates into having a supervisor to back up every division manager in each of our 12 divisions. I oversee the 6 divisions within the department that are responsible for office and elections administration. Those divisions are the Candidate Services Division, which is responsible for assisting candidates running for office. The Ballot Layout Division, which is responsible for the production and the proofing of all election-related materials, including but not limited to official ballots and county voter information guides. The Voter Registration Division, which is responsible for maintaining all registered voter information, and the GIS Mapping Division, which is responsible for establishing the boundaries of all local jurisdictions contained within the county. The Public and Legislative Affairs Division, which is responsible for getting the word out about elections, as well as provide new law information to the divisions for operational impacts. I am Virginia Bloom, and on behalf of all of the executives, we'd like to welcome you to the ROV and are excited to have you as a part of our team.
Conducting a successful election takes months of preparation before the actual day of the election. Hundreds of vote centers need to be found and thousands of workers must be recruited and trained. Ballots need to be created in 5 federally mandated languages. Every piece of voting equipment needs to be tested and supplies need to be prepared and delivered to every precinct. Additionally, tens of thousands of voter registration applications need to be processed and ballots need to be mailed to hundreds of thousands of vote-by-mail voters. Through all this, we must be open and transparent, making sure the public understands our operations and encourage community input and involvement in the elections process. When the final election results are released, voters can have full confidence in their accuracy and integrity.
Hi, my name is Bren Lair. I'm the manager of the Candidate Services Division, also known as CSD. During an election, every election starts here in our division. Candidate Services Division is the first step in the election process. If you wish to, 1, run for office, we process all candidate nomination papers. 2, start an initiative or recall petitions. 3, create a campaign political action committee and serve as the filing official for all campaign reports. The second step in the elections process is to create and maintain reference materials such as office holder lists, election calendars, candidate guides, packets for ballot arguments, initiatives, and recall petitions. We are the filing official for all Fair Political Practice Commission mandated campaign filings. We also assist candidates with the county's mandated electronic filing of all campaign reports. Got questions? We do not give legal advice, but we will guide you to the right resources, such as how to get your name on a ballot as a candidate, what are the rules and mandates for recording your campaign finance activity, how to file an initiative or recall petition. I am Bren Lair, and on behalf of Candidate Services Division, we would like to welcome you to the ROV family. We look forward to working with you.
The Candidate Services Division provides information to candidates and jurisdictions, not only during an election cycle, but throughout the entire year. We are here for you if you need to submit a resolution calling an election, be provided with election materials and deadline dates, direct candidates to submit election forms, FPPC forms, or update candidate and jurisdiction information. You can reach Bren Lair, Election Division Coordinator, and Christina Rivas-Louie, Election Process Supervisor, with questions. Thank you for the opportunity to present our division's information. In preparation for the November 3rd, 2020 election, each jurisdiction must file an original adopted resolution with the Board of Supervisors and a copy to the Registrar of Voters Office on or before the following dates. July 1, 2020 is when resolutions for governing board elections are due. July 13, 2020 is when the nomination period opens. This is the first date candidates can pick up and or file nomination papers. August 7, 2020 is when measure resolutions and tax rate statements are due, as well as when the nomination period closes. This information is highlighted as a reminder to set all deadlines on your calendars. Among other duties, the Candidate Services Division thoroughly reviews resolutions for election specifications, such as correct election codes, number of offices and term length, full or short, statements of qualifications, current mapping, methods to determine ties, board member names, and if seats are elected by district or at large. The division will work closely with each jurisdiction on sections of the resolution that may need follow-up. After the review is complete, the Candidate Services Division processes the resolution and distributes to other divisions such as mapping, ballot layout, and election logistics and voting systems. These divisions continue to process your information to ensure GIS maps are accurate, county information guides have correct candidate and jurisdiction information, and our EIMS system is up to date with all current contests. Earlier this year, jurisdictions were provided forms that included a resolution template and information sheet. It is important for jurisdictions to provide candidate services with details in the information sheet to assist with accurate maintenance of district files. The Candidate Services Division thoroughly reviews measure election resolutions for specifications such as calling for and requesting the ROV to consolidate with the statewide election, listing the date, type, and purpose of the election. The measure question is no more than 75 words. It ensures there's a passage rate of the measure, whether the full text is to be printed, if the bond measure specifies a tax rate statement or if state matching funds apply, and which newspaper to publish the notice of election. When receiving resolutions related to measure elections, the Candidate Services Division works closely with each jurisdiction on sections of the resolution that may need follow-up. Please keep in mind that the measure lettering justification form is due at 5 o'clock p.m. on E88, August 7th. 2020. It is important to know the rules for counting words in a candidate statement. The candidate statement heading includes the candidate's name, which is required, age, which is optional, and occupation, which is optional. These words, however, do not count toward the number of words allowed for the statement. All statements will begin with the words education and qualifications, followed by the text filed by the candidate. The occupation field in the candidate statement is not governed by the same laws pertaining to the ballot designation. Therefore, it may be different. However, if its length exceeds one line, the additional words will be counted towards the final word limit. Words will be counted according to the following guidelines. Each word shall be counted as one word except as specified in this section. All proper nouns, including geographical names, shall be considered as one word. For example, City and County of San Francisco. Each abbreviation of a word, phrase, or expression shall be counted as one word. Hyphenated words that appear in any generally available standard reference dictionary published in the United States at any time within the 10 calendar years immediately preceding the election for which the words are counted shall be considered as one word. For example, mother-in-law, first rate, one time. Each part of all other hyphenated words shall be counted as a separate word. For example, one half, local area, home page. Dates shall be counted as one word. Any number consisting of a digit or digits shall be considered as one word. For example, 100. Any number which is spelled out shall be considered as a separate word or words. For example, 1 shall be counted as one word, whereas 100 shall be counted as two words. Telephone numbers shall be counted as one word. A website address shall be counted as one word. Punctuation shall not be counted. Characters used in place of a word or number and that stand alone, such as an ampersand, $sign, percentage, or hashtag, shall be counted as one word. Characters used in conjunction with a number and necessary to combine, such as $100 or 100%, are not counted. For example, $100 is counted as one word, while hashtag vote for me would be counted as three separate words because the hashtag symbol is not counted. If the text exceeds the word or line limit, the author will be asked to amend their statement to bring it within the required word or line limit. On or before the 88th day deadline, August 7, 2020, when resolutions are due, jurisdictions are encouraged to hand-deliver hard copy documents to the ROV's office at 1555 Burger Drive to ensure timely processing. Jurisdictions should be aware that a sign-off on official printed information, including the ballot question, full text, and tax rate statements, if any, related to a local ballot measure, is required to ensure accurate information is provided in the voter information guide. Documents should be compared to the originals that were submitted to the ROV and be provided within a 24-hour turnaround to ensure timely process. If the measure election is for a school bond, please indicate if state matching funds apply, which must be stated per education code. Candidates must file specific Fair Political Practices Commission FPPC forms to ensure legal compliance. For instance, office holders who do not have a campaign committee but do receive a stipend of $200 or more per month from a district must file a Form 470 no later than July 31st of each year. If a candidate is running for office, he or she must file a Form 501 to announce their intent to run prior to collecting funds. Once the candidate receives $2,000 in contributions, he or she must then file a Form 410 to set up a controlled committee with the Secretary of State. Then at various times throughout the election and biannually, while the committee is still open, the candidate must also file a Form 460 to report his or her financials. Please call the Candidate Services Division for general FPPC questions. FPPC filing calendars and abbreviated calendars are available on our website. Candidates must be eligible to run for office. When one of the following occurs, please contact the Candidate Services Division to confirm the residency requirement of the candidate is met before you proceed any further. A district fills a vacancy by appointment, or during the nomination period, a candidate picks up his or her nomination documents, but prior to filing at the ROV.
Hello, my name is Bob Nguyen, the coordinator of the Geographic Information System Mapping Division. I have been with the Registrar of Voters Office since 2004. which has given me the opportunity to work with many divisions here and learn all the aspects of the ROV. Our divisions is a team of 5, where our main tasks are to collect boundary information from the various jurisdictions within the county and to maintain accurate GIS precinct information for all elections. Once the election is called, the GIS Mapping Division performs the precinct consolidations to combine multiple home precincts into larger voting precincts broken down by the legislative jurisdictional boundaries and layered by each election contest to ensure voters to receive the correct ballot, which they are entitled to vote for. The process of GIS data collections are to perform quality geocoding on the existing and incoming data, and to verify voter addresses, and to optimize polling place, drop box, and voter center locations. I'm Bob Nguyen, and on the behalf of the GIS Mapping Division, we would like to welcome you to the ROV family, and we are so excited to have you on board.
You can reach the GIS Mapping Division staff, Bob Nguyen, Election Division Coordinator, and Chin-Chi Yi, Geographic Information System Analyst, with questions. Thank you for the opportunity to present our division's information. By law, jurisdictions are required to provide the ROV with boundary data at least 125 days prior to the election day. The GIS Mapping Division uses Geographic Information Systems for much of its work to determine boundary data accuracy. The division would greatly appreciate receiving any boundary data in a GIS format or list of APNs containing the property addresses during the filings period. In order to improve the accuracy of your jurisdiction's boundaries, the GIS Mapping Division has established a district boundary review process, which has several components: a tracking log that contains all district boundary changes required by the State Audit's Office, outreach to all district and city officials. GIS Mapping Division will want as much participation in this process as possible, and two-way communication between the jurisdiction and the Registrar of Voters Office to verify the most accurate boundaries. The GIS Mapping Division uses the boundaries that you provide to maintain and update current voting precinct boundaries used in the election. There are 3 specific items needed for this process to create the best accurate boundaries possible: the office resolution of city annexations or parcel transfers from LAFCO, current jurisdiction boundaries in a GIS data format such as shapefiles or feature classes in a geodatabase, and a list of property parcels, residentials, and commercials within the boundary that include assessor parcel numbers, APNs, and address data attached for each. The GIS Mapping Division cannot complete their work without your help and ask for your trust and cooperation during this process. The GIS Mapping Division staff are the experts who have data access from multiple sources, and you are the expert of your jurisdiction. Together we can review and improve boundary data accuracy during our election preparations. Thank you for working with us. For transparency purposes, the GIS Mapping Division will send your jurisdiction a boundary review package containing the following materials: a city boundary map with a sign-off section and a sign-off instruction sheet. During the district boundary review process, your jurisdiction will experience the following. The ROV will deliver a district boundary review packet to the jurisdiction. The jurisdiction will review the map and determine any boundary changes. If there are changes, the jurisdiction will mark the changes on the map, contact the ROV, and send data back to the ROV to show what boundary changes have occurred. Once received, the Mapping Division will update the boundaries and send a new map back to the jurisdiction for review. If the jurisdiction had no changes or the updated map is now accurate, the GIS Mapping Division will request to complete the sign-offs and send the map back to the ROV. Once the signed-off map is received at the ROV, the jurisdiction's part of the annual district boundary review is complete. Here is an example of a map that is created by the GIS Mapping Division, with areas in yellow indicating the old boundary and areas in blue indicating boundary changes. For instance, streets and parcel layers are included for reference. Please note that many of the maps will not have such a large difference as shown here, so jurisdictions must be on the lookout for smaller areas to verify. If there is a change to your jurisdiction's district, or if the current city boundaries in our system is different from the data in the jurisdiction's records, please circle No and note on the map or reply with what changes needed to make the map accurate. The GIS Mapping Division will review and update the changes on the map, then send that updated version back to the jurisdiction for another review and sign-off. The jurisdiction will fill out the jurisdiction boundary sign-off section after thoroughly reviewing the map and have no additional adjustments to send back to the ROV. Otherwise, if there are no other changes to be made, please also complete the sign-off section and send the package back to the ROV. Thank you so much for your time. Please contact Bob or Chenchi with any questions.
Hi, I am Liz Oviedo, Election Division Coordinator for the Ballot Layout Division, also known as BLD. The division consists of an election process supervisor, 13 bilingual election specialists dedicated to each one of the mandated languages, and up to 50 extra help staff for upcoming elections. The ballot layout is responsible for the production and proofreading of the Santa Clara County official ballot and county voter information guides, known as CIVICs. The official ballot consists of optical scan paper ballots, touchscreen ballots, audio ballots, and remote accessible ballots for the military, overseas, and visually impaired voters. Commencing in 2020, the division will be producing official ballots in all 9 languages for the implementation of the Voters' Choice Act. The division also produces and proofs the content of ebooks, which is an electronic version of the CIVICs designed for accessibility. We also produce other election material translations, such as election publications, letters, posters, envelopes, polling place materials, and website content. The division works very long hours under a very tight schedule in order to meet legal deadlines and to provide voting materials to all registered voters in Santa Clara County. I am Liz Oviedo, and on behalf of the Ballot Layout Division, we would like to encourage all of you as voters, when reading through the voting materials, to know that careful preparation was made in ensuring accuracy and accessibility just for you, the voters. We would like to thank and welcome you to the ROV team. We are so excited to have you on board.
This is Liz Oviedo, Election Division Coordinator for the Ballot Layout Division. I would like to thank you for this opportunity. The Ballot Layout Division is responsible for the production of the official ballots and county voter information guides. The official ballots include optical scan paper ballots, accessible touchscreen and audio ballots, remote accessible ballots for the military, overseas, and visually impaired voters. The ballots are produced in the languages of Chinese, Spanish, Vietnamese, Tagalog, Hindi, Japanese, Khmer, and Korean to comply with federal and state mandates. We anticipate adding additional languages to comply with state mandates in the near future. The declaration of candidacy and language forms, candidate statements, and all measure documents are copied, scanned, and converted into Word files. We format documents and perform multiple rounds of proofs. In the November 2018 election, we produced 275 ballot types, 230 candidate statements, and 32 local measures were published in our guides. We anticipate that these numbers will be significantly higher in the upcoming election. We recommend that all documents are carefully reviewed prior to submitting to our department. It is important that all handwritten information, like names of candidates and occupations, are legible. The gender information is necessary for translation purposes. Any additional markings introduced during the word count process could become apostrophes or periods when the documents are converted into Microsoft Word format, resulting in multiple rounds of edits and proofs. All documents are formatted with standard headings based on our guidelines. We need to know in the original documents where the text begins and where it ends. For maps and images, we need JPEG or TIFF files. Titles in arguments and rebuttals need to be clearly marked in the forms. The handwritten names of signers and their titles need to be legible, and gender must be specified. If the information is not clear, we are going to inquire, and candidate services will reach out to jurisdictions for clarification. The author review process provides an opportunity for jurisdictions to sign off on documents. When our English format is finalized, our division will email the candidate statements and measure documents to jurisdictions for approval. Jurisdictions are given over 24 hours to review and sign off on the documents. Please feel free to contact us if you have any questions. Thank you.
My name is Vicky Bituin, and I'm the manager of the Fiscal Division here at the Registrar of Voters Office. Fiscal Division is a team of 6 accountants, accountant assistants, and account clerks. We support all the ROV financial transactions such as accounts receivable, accounts payable. We provide cost estimates, we do budget, and payroll. Accounts receivable, this is where we bill, collect payments from jurisdictions who have participated in an election or any services that we provide. In accounts payable, this is where we pay the vendors or our suppliers. Cost estimates, this is where we provide cost estimates for a proposed election to jurisdictions on how much it would cost them to hold an election. Budget, we work with all the divisions regarding their budget needs for the coming fiscal year. We work hand in hand with the executive managers and the admin team, and together we determine our budget proposals and submit to the Office of Budget and Analysis. Again, I'm Vicky Bituin, and on behalf of the entire Fiscal Division, we would like to thank you for joining us here at the Register of Voters. Welcome to ROV.
The Fiscal Division is responsible for all accounting aspects of the ROV, particularly in providing cost estimates for upcoming elections. The Fiscal Division will bill the jurisdictions after the election and for other services provided to the public or the jurisdiction. The next few slides will provide detailed information related to the most recently approved fee schedule. You may contact Vicky Bituin, Fiscal Officer, and Trin Doe, Accountant 3, with all inquiries and for the most expedited response. As we move through the slides and the schedules, you'll learn more about specific fees related to ROV services. Section A relates to election services fees. More specifically, A1 are charges for the primary and general elections that cities, schools, and special districts will incur. A fixed rate is charged per registered voter plus additional costs for legal publications and ballot printing in 9 languages. For instance, $2.66 will be charged per registered voter for the first item on the ballot, then 76 cents for each additional item. A2 are charges for when special elections are called. The costs of elections are based on actual costs incurred, labor and materials, and indirect costs associated. The Fiscal Division asks jurisdictions to deposit at least 70% of the estimated cost that was provided at that time. A3 is a minimum charge for jurisdictions participating in a primary or general election. $6,182 will be charged per jurisdiction per contest, plus the cost of legal publications and ballot printing in 9 languages. A4 has a minimum charge if a special district does not go to election due to insufficient nominees. $2,048 will be charged per special district per contact, plus legal publication costs. A5.1 through A5.4 are charges for the voter information measure pages. Measure pages contain the full text, impartial analysis, arguments for and against, and rebuttals for and against, plus fixed costs that will be discussed later in this presentation. A6.1 through A6.4 are charges for candidate statements for judges and other candidates depending on the number of words that are printed in the voter information pages of the CVIG, plus any fixed costs that will be discussed later in this presentation. A7 is a charge for research and compilation services at a minimum of $95. A8 is a charge for certification services at $88 per certificate. Moving on to Section B, miscellaneous voter and election information fees. More specifically, B1 and B2 are charges for the electronic versions of the voter file and other miscellaneous election information at a flat fee of $129. Section C relates to vote-by-mail voter information fees. More specifically, C1 is a charge for the electronic version of initial requests at a flat fee of $129. C2 is a charge for the electronic version of updates, daily or weekly, at a flat fee of $65. Section D relates to precinct map fees. More specifically, D1 is a charge for black and white maps at $5 per page. D2 are charges for an original standard printer or plotter map. There will be an initial $73 setup fee with various printing fees for size of pages ranging from $5 per page to $30 per page. D3 are charges for an original custom printer or plotter map. There will be an initial $142 setup fee with various printing fees for a size of pages ranging from $5 per page to $30 per page. D4 is a charge for standard digital maps with a $73 setup fee plus $3 per map. D5 is a charge for custom digital maps with a $142 setup fee plus $3 per map. Section E relates to statement of votes fees. More specifically, E1 is a charge for photocopies of special and parts of primary and general elections at 10 cents per page. Section F relates to registration, affidavits, and postage. F1 is a charge for a photocopy of an affidavit at 10 cents per page. F2 is a charge for a printed copy of scanned affidavit that is not certified at 10 cents per page. F3 simply notes that postage and handling will be the actual cost of postage. Section G relates to FPPC report fees. More specifically, G1 is a charge for FPPC copies at 10 cents per page. G2 is an FPPC retrieval fee for documents more than 5 years old at $5 per request plus 10 cents per copy. Section H relates to photocopy charges. H1 is a charge for document photocopies at 10 cents per page. Section I relates to miscellaneous services fees. More specifically, I1 are actual labor cost fees for petition signature verification based on time studies and indirect costs. I2 are actual labor cost fees for redistricting based on time studies and indirect costs, plus costs of services and supplies in mailing notices to all registered voters. I3 are actual labor cost fees for recounting based on time studies and indirect costs, plus costs of services and supplies calculated in accordance with the Elections Code. As mentioned earlier in this presentation, additional fixed cost charges per candidate statement include $2,343 for a 200-word statement and $3,516 for a 400-word statement. Printing cost per page per sample ballot ordered is based on actual unit printing costs and ranges from approximately 1 to 2 cents per page. In addition to the candidate statement charges, there is a fixed cost for measure pages of $7,405 per full page of 800 words, which includes text of the measure, impartial analysis, arguments in favor of and against, and rebuttals in favor of and against. Printing cost per page per sample ballot is based on actual unit printing costs, ranging from approximately 1 to 2 cents per page. This concludes our fiscal presentation. For further inquiries, please feel free to email the ROV Fiscal Division at rov-fiscal@rov.sccgov.org. Thank you.
I'm Paulo Chang. I'm the manager for Precinct Operations Division. We have the Precinct Operations team, and what they do is they go out there, they find the vote centers, they survey the vote centers, make sure that everybody can vote on it, and then they also hire the staff to work on it, and then on election day they provide the hotline support on 299 poll. The next team that we have is the training team, and that's the outstanding team because every election they have to rework the training schedule, they have to rework the training curriculum. Now, all of this could not happen without the outreach team. The outreach team is engaged in educating the population of the county so that everyone knows when to vote, how to vote, and how important it is to do their homework before they come in to vote at the vote centers. Now, we want to make sure that everybody in the county has a proper location to vote, safe, and it's very easy to vote, and especially that the staff working there are doing a great job and are properly trained to do all this work. Before I go, I want to remind you all that that's our mission, but we also want to work with everybody else in the office. There's no way we can do all of this work by ourselves. We rely a lot on everyone. We don't have all the answers. No one has all the answers. We work together. And on that note, welcome all of you joining us. This is a great family to be in. You're in for a big adventure. My name is Paulo Chang. I'm with Precinct Operations Division. Cut!
The Precinct Operations Division is responsible for many duties, including vote center coordination, staffing, training, and outreach. Please contact Paulo Chang, Election Division Coordinator, Lance Noddle, Election Process Supervisor, or April Bracamonte, Election Process Supervisor, with any questions. The Precinct Operations Division manages voting facilities, hiring, assignment, and training of vote center staff, and provides Election Day support. We also provide voter education outreach to all Santa Clara County communities. Precinct Operations also recruits and hires up to 1,400 vote center staff, including hourly workers, stipend volunteers, and high school student volunteers. Vote center staff are scheduled for mandatory vote center staff training classes. The aides will attend a 3-day class and the leads will attend a 7-day class. Throughout the year, the ROV outreach team participates in hundreds of community events. The Precinct Operations Division provides voter education presentations, voter registration drives, and seeks ways to empower all county voters. In 2019, the Precinct Operations Division started a Voter Education and Outreach Coalition, otherwise known as VOC, with several community organizations to engage all communities in learning and making the most of their voting rights. Additionally, the Precinct Operations visits high schools to conduct student voter registration drives, as well as educates and recruits high school students to work on Election Day. The Precinct Operations Division welcomes school districts and high school inquiries, as well as participation. The Precinct Operations Division team researches and contracts for vote centers throughout the county. Each facility is surveyed for size, parking availability, and ADA compliance, among other criteria such as public transportation accessibility. Most importantly, vote center facilities must be continually available up to 13 days, including weekends. The Precinct Operations Division staff visits high schools to conduct student voter registration drives, as well as educates and recruits high school students to work on Election Day. The Precinct's Operations Division welcomes school districts and high school inquiries and participation. High school student volunteers are required to work 2 days, Saturday or Sunday, and Election Day, and receive a stipend or community credit. Many students donate their stipend to an organization of their choosing. Depending on the election, the Precinct Operations Division will hire hundreds to thousands of extra help workers starting as early as 5 months prior to Election Day. Interested applicants must apply online and be approved by Employee Services Agency, ESA, who then refer approved workers to the Registrar of Voters office. An example of a plan for the November 2020 presidential election is to start classes in early September with a goal of hiring 1,500 staff, including backup. At vote centers, staff are pre-scheduled to a 4 or 7 day class, leads to a 7-day class, and aides to a 3-day class. High school students and volunteers will be scheduled for a 3-hour class. Vote centers will also be open for a setup equipment day, pre-election work day, on Election Day, and for a pickup equipment day. An 11-day vote center should typically be available for 13 days, and a 4-day vote center should typically be available for 6 days. When a smaller local election is called, i.e. school district versus full county election, these numbers are reduced to match the number of vote centers. The next few slides will address commonly asked questions and will answer information related to Voters' Choice Act and technology. What does the Voters' Choice Act mean to me as a polling place voter? It means you now have more days and more ways to cast your ballot, including access to services not previously offered at polling places, i.e. address change, name change, and same-day voter registration. With new ballot on demand technology, you can also vote for your own local contest wherever you are in the county. Best of all, you no longer have to wait until Tuesday to vote because vote center voting starts as early as 2 Saturdays prior to Election Day. What does the Voters' Choice Act mean to me as a vote-by-mail voter? The majority of Santa Clara County voters were already registered as vote-by-mail voters. However, the introduction of the Voters' Choice Act brings this number up to 100%. Every Santa Clara County registered voter now receives a vote-by-mail ballot. Additionally, vote-by-mail ballots are mailed out starting 29 days prior to the election day and can be mailed in via USPS prepaid postage, dropped off at any registered voter's drop-off box, or at any vote center throughout the county. Drop-off boxes and vote center sites are available on the ROV's website at www.sccvote.gov. Moreover, vote-by-mail voters who need to replace a ballot can do so at a vote center starting 11 days prior to Election Day. What are drop boxes and how can jurisdictions sign up to be a Dropbox site? Drop boxes are secure vote-by-mail ballot collection boxes available throughout the county 24 hours a day, starting 29 days prior to and through 8 p.m. on election night. The ROV will set up and operate the drop boxes. Whenever possible, vote-by-mail drop boxes are placed in or near public facilities or government offices such as public libraries, community centers, city halls, school district offices, college campuses, and so on. For more information on vote-by-mail drop boxes, please contact the Vote-by-Mail Division at 408-282-3018. How to find vote center locations and how jurisdictions can sign up. For vote center locations and addresses, visit the Registrar of Voters website at www.sccvote.gov. Voters can search for a vote center nearest their home address or search by location. Some of the criteria ROV looks for in a vote center are: is it available 13 days straight without scheduling interruption? Is it a large enough space to hold the equipment, staff, and voters? Does it serve a community? Is it ADA compliant? Does it have lockable rooms for overnight storage? Is it available at no cost or at a reduced rental fee? Does it have enough power outlets? Is parking plentiful and available every day? Is it nearby public transportation and major thoroughfares? Most importantly, is it open to all people to come in and use the facility as a vote center? Precinct Operations is always looking for additional and future vote center sites, so if you know of a facility that meets all of these criteria, please email April Bracamonte at april.bracamonte@rov.secgov.org. Remote Accessible Vote by Mail, also known as REVBM by California law, allows registered voters with disabilities as well as military and overseas voters to vote from home or outside the USA using a remote accessible vote by mail system. Eligible voters can download an electronic copy of their ballot, mark it with their own assistive technology, and then print and mail it back to the ROV. To ensure security, the voters' choices are not recorded or transmitted online. Bilingual staff are assigned to every vote center to process voters and provide language assistance as needed. Workers are assigned to targeted vote centers to assist voters in several federally required languages such as Spanish, Chinese, Vietnamese, Tagalog, Hindi, Japanese, Khmer, Korean, Gujarati, Persian, Portuguese, Punjabi, Russian, Syriac, and Telugu. Poll books, also called poll pads, are used at the vote centers to check in voters and allow the issuance of demand ballots to each voter. Poll pads are connected to the voter database through the ROV supplied Wi-Fi signal to find a voter's eligibility status. This setup allows voters to vote from any vote center throughout the county without missing out on their local ballot contests. ROV has created a web page that complies with various VCA-related promotional and informational materials for use by our community partners or other agencies located on our website at www.secgov.org. Navigate from the home page to the Voters' Choice Act button in the top menu, then click on the Promotional Materials in the drop-down window. The Public and Legislative Affairs Division is active in informing the county's voters of the latest voting-related updates and news. For more information, please contact the media line at 408-282-3008. The Registrar of Voters Outreach Team organizes and participates in hundreds of presentations throughout the year, ranging from voter education to Voters' Choice Act, as well as speaking engagements. Audiences range from small nonprofit groups to public or government-related events. To learn more, please email outreach@rov.secgov.org. Additionally, prior to every election, our high school coordinators contact and participate with high schools throughout Santa Clara County, either at the request of a school administration or teachers. The high school coordinators contact pre-registration drives, participate in National Voter Registration Day events, and recruit high school students to volunteer at the vote centers during the weekend prior to and through Election Day.
Hi, I'm Evelyn Mendez, the Public and Legislative Affairs Division Coordinator. Our division is also known as PLA. We are a 4-person team that represents the point of information on behalf of the ROV. It is our duty to inform the public of any and all changes and updates. Voting is a fundamental right, and people need to be in the know about what's going on. We get the word out on everything encompassing elections, including, but not limited to, new voting systems and new ways to vote. Public duties include preparing press releases and passing along information to the media with clarity and most of all with accuracy, facilitating interviews with the correct ROV staff. We run advertising campaigns, keeping the public informed, especially during the election season. We also maintain social media platforms abreast with up-to-date, real-time changes and creative posts promoting voter education and history. Regarding legislative affairs, we track proposed legislation that affects the divisions within the ROV and offer feedback to the CACEO on behalf of the Santa Clara County Registrar of Voters Department. And we attend the legislative committee meetings with the CACEO comprised of elections officials from all 58 counties and the Secretary of State's office. Monitor current legislation and proposed bills, strategize and support implementation of new procedures implemented by new laws, report proposed, drafted, amended, and approved legislation to all divisions so they can identify and plan for possible legislative impacts to their operations. Whether or not the news trucks are around, our small division is busy. In addition to keeping track of what's happening in Sacramento, we handle all the California Public Records Act requests, preparing responses to the public, including the copious records and data we maintain at the ROV. I'm Evelyn Mendez, and on behalf of the Public and Legislative Affairs Division, we would like to welcome you to the ROV family, the place that makes your vote possible.
The Public and Legislative Affairs Division is the mouthpiece of the ROV. We are the team that helps get the word out on what is going on with respect to elections and responding to all media inquiries from reporters and the public. The division is also responsible for tracking legislation and monitoring how each bill might affect each division of the ROV. The division schedules and coordinates media interviews with television, radio, print, and internet outlets, and not just in response to requests, the Public and Legislative Affairs Division also conducts publicity campaigns to encourage voting and allows members of the public to learn more about important upcoming dates and developments. Media officers also field California Public Records Act requests for information. You can reach Evelyn Mendez, Election Division Coordinator, and Chippo Malenga, Public Communications Specialist, with questions. Thank you for the opportunity to present our division's information. During the March 2020 election, the Public and Legislative Affairs Division launched the biggest advertising campaign the ROV has ever had. With over 40 different vendors, our advertising voice was heard through TV, radio, newspaper, shopping carts, and sports franchises. The ROV used vendors that were able to spread the word in 8 different languages. Preparing for the county's first ever Voters' Choice Act model was a monumental task. The Public and Legislative Affairs Division spread the word with different phases throughout the campaign, including the following messages in multiple languages: Voters' Choice, your new voting experience; vote early, more days, more ways; vote centers now open; vote now. For the first time, the county partnered with major NFL, NHL, and MLS leagues to advertise at the various arenas around the county. All the teams assisted with advertising, email messaging, website postings, and display boards surrounding their arenas. Levi Stadium was also used as one of our 110 vote centers, and the 49er staff worked in partnership with the ROV to film a short commercial about the vote center. Perhaps one of our more active advertising was our campaign with the VTA. Our Voters' Choice Act message donned the interior and exterior of buses throughout the county. We also worked in partnership with local Korean grocery stores to display our messages on shopping carts in Korean. The ROV had a heavy social media presence on Instagram, Facebook, Nextdoor, Twitter, and YouTube for this last election cycle. The social media posts assisted with each step of the campaign and served as a quick and easy way to get the word out. Since the ROV is equipped with staff that speak all the required languages, we relied heavily on our certified translators to get messages out in various languages promptly. Our social media presence was more active than ever, providing daily posts and updates to keep voters informed. To help get the word out and prepare our voters, the ROV created 5 new how-to videos to assist our voters for the March election. These videos included how to register to vote, how to vote by mail, how to vote at a vote center, how to complete a remote access vote by mail ballot, and how to vote military or overseas voters. All how-to voters have been translated and will be updated before the next November election. The ROV worked with the News and Review to create a Voters' Choice Act guide. This publication was inserted into every newspaper in the county with over 250,000 distributed. The vendor also created an online flipbook that was shared with businesses, partners, and community-based organizations to add to their internal website and share with their employees and constituents. The multilingual ROV staff conducted interviews in English, Spanish, Vietnamese, Tagalog, Korean, Chinese, Japanese, Hindi, and Khmer. Staff worked diligently for months conducting interviews on and off-site throughout the county. The ROV conducted a media day to demonstrate the new voting equipment and to be available for questions about the new voting experience. On Election Day, the ROV conducted over 31 interviews, drawing local and national attention. The Public and Legislative Affairs Division is also responsible for keeping track of legislation. The division tracks and monitors the progress of bills and reports to the ROV to determine the impact it may or may not have on the divisions within the ROV. Any California Public Records Act requests of the ROV will be processed through this division. Our team gathers and provides responsive documents to the requesters.
Hi, I'm Julia Sines, Manager of the Voter Registration Division, also known as VRD. We are a team of 6 and employ up to 35 individuals to help during our election seasons. Our division maintains the voter registration data files of the Santa Clara County Registrar of Voters Office using 2 separate systems: Election Information Management System, also known as EIMS, and California Statewide Voter Registration Database, also known as VoteCal. What does voter registration do? Voter registration is responsible for voter file maintenance, which consists of heavy data entry, adding and updating registered voters. Voter file maintenance is performed year-round, 365 days a year, and is critical in ensuring accurate voter rolls. In addition to voter file maintenance, our responsibilities include customer service over the phone via 299 Vote, as well as the front counter, state and local petitions, intake, raw count, signature verification and reporting, and election-related operations such as conditional voter registration and provisional ballot processing. We are a goal-oriented division who must adhere to time-sensitive deadlines. We pride ourselves on effective communication, accountability, and positivity. I'm Julia Sines, and on behalf of the Voter Registration Division, we would like to welcome you to the ROV and are excited to have you, and you on board.
Hello, my name is Julia Sines, Election Division Coordinator for the Voter Registration Division. Voter registration is responsible for voter file maintenance, customer service, both over the phone and in person, signature verification, and more. Federal law requires the California DMV to provide customers the opportunity to register to vote while completing a driver's license or identification card or change of address transaction. Voters will automatically be registered to vote unless the voter chooses to opt out of automatic voter registration. If the voter is already registered to vote, the registration at the DMV will update their existing registration. Since the program launched in 2018, we've seen an increase in our registration by more than 100%. Within 30 working days of the petition filing date, ROV will verify the validity of the signatures filed with our office using a random sampling technique of verification. Upon completion of a random sample, the county elections official will immediately certify to the city clerk's office or proceed to a full count as necessary. An official memorandum will be shared with the city clerks in the forthcoming months.
ROV will verify 500 signatures or 3% of the number of signatures filed, whichever is greater. If after verification, the number of projected valid signatures shows less than 95% of the number of signatures required to qualify, the petition will be found insufficient. If the total number of projected valid signatures is more than 110% of the number of signatures required, the petition will be found sufficient. If after the random sampling technique is complete, and the number of projected valid signatures shows between 95 to 110%, ROV will have 60 working days from the date of filing to complete a full count. After the completion of signature verification, staff will then perform a second review of any signatures found invalid during the first review. During the second review, any invalid signatures found valid will be updated prior to certification. If after both the first and second review the petition is found insufficient, ROV will certify the results as such, at which point proponents of the insufficient petition may examine the petition pursuant to Government Code 6254.5.
My name is Alfred Gonzalez. I'm the manager at the Vote by Mail division here at the Santa Clara County Registrar of Voters Office. We are one of the many divisions that handles and maintains multiple functions and moving parts of every election. Have you ever wondered what happened to your ballot when you return your envelopes by mail? We will walk you through our division and give you the glimpse of the pride we take in each ballot. We personally oversee vote by mail ballots, recruiting drop box locations and the logistics, VVM applications, which include overseas and military voters, safe at home and confidential voters, audio for visually impaired, and opening and flattening of the ballots. Processing vote by mail requests. Update voter file to current voter when vote by mail mailing address is requested as well for military and overseas. Customer service. Counter and phone banks to assist voters in any questions regarding their status and any requests related to vote by mail. For example, a voter did not receive their ballot, we would reissue the voter a new one and place in the mail immediately. BBM is responsible for recruiting the place where the drop box would be placed, and once recruited, we will survey the area to ensure that it's ADA compliance and place in accessible path to public transportation or parking lot. Sorting machines processing can be processed 29 days before election. The process starts with the return envelopes going through the first pass on the sorting machine, in which the sorter will capture the signature to be verified by the vote by mail counter staff. Once verified, the return envelopes are run for the second pass and to be sliced and sorted by precincts. I'm Alfred Gonzalez. On behalf of Vote by Mail Division, we welcome you at the Registrar of Voters.
You can reach Alfred Gonzalez, Election Division Coordinator, and Pamela Hamilton, Election Process Supervisor, with questions. Thank you for the opportunity to present our division's information. There are a few minor changes that will make it even easier for a voter to cast a ballot. Now all voters will automatically receive a vote by mail VBM ballot and do not need to submit a VBM request. Ballots will be mailed about 1 month prior to each election, giving the voter plenty of time to mark and return their ballot when it is most convenient for them. A voter has many options to return his or her ballot. Ballots must be returned before the close of election day. One option is by mail. A voter can return their ballot by mail. No postage is required if he or she uses the provided return envelope. Ballots must be postmarked on or before Election Day and received by the Registrar of Voters Office within 3 days after the election. A second option is for the voter to go to a vote center. Vote centers will be open up to 10 days before the election. Voters can return their completed ballot at any vote center in the county. A list of vote centers will be published before each election. And a third option is for the voter to go to a ballot drop box. Ballots may be returned at any ballot drop box in the county starting 29 days before the election. Ballot drop boxes are secured, locked containers and are placed in convenient, accessible locations. A list of ballot drop boxes will be published before each election. There are many reasons why a voter might need a replacement ballot. For example, he or she might have lost a ballot or made a mistake while marking it. The voter can also request a replacement ballot to change an address or update voter registration information. There are two ways to obtain a replacement ballot. One way is by mail. A voter can request a new ballot to be mailed to him or her by calling the Registrar of Voters office toll-free at 866-430-VOTE or 8683 or by email at votebymail@rov.sccgov.org. The request must be received at least 7 days before the election. After then, replacement ballots are only available in person. A second way is in person. A voter can pick up a replacement ballot in person at the Registrar of Voters office or at any vote center in the county. If a voter receives and votes a replacement ballot, all other ballots will automatically be void. Voters are encouraged to destroy and discard any unused ballots. Only one ballot will be accepted per voter per election. If a voter does not want to vote using the vote by mail ballot, he or she can go to a vote center to vote in person. If the voter votes at a vote center, his or her vote by mail ballot will be void. He or she can bring the VBM ballot back to the vote center to surrender it or destroy it and throw it away. Voters with disabilities, as well as military and overseas voters, may use the remote accessible vote by mail system to access and vote their ballots independently and privately. Instead of using a paper vote by mail ballot, he or she can access an electronic version of their ballot, which can be marked using their own assistive technology at home. When done, the voter must print his or her ballot and return it to the Registrar of Voters office for their ballot to be counted. To preserve the voter's privacy and security, ballot selections are not transmitted electronically through the Internet. Voters may also choose to vote in person using an accessible voting machine at the Registrar of Voters office or at any vote center in the county. This concludes our presentation. Your feedback and comments are important to us. We want to ensure a successful election experience. Please send your questions to contacts listed prior to each division's information segment. Someone will get back to you within 48 hours.